All right, Evan Ginsberg back with Legends TV with my co-host, poet John Winnell, and my other co-host from the wrestling world, Sir Style, and our very, very special guest. We are honored to have Van Fields Stylistics Review. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
I'm Van Fields.
Mark Rosario.
I'm Carl Gray.
I'm LaShawn Johnson.
Okay, and Mr. Fields, you were with the Stylistics back in 2000 on, and tell us how this whole wonderful thing started.
Well, I was in a group called the Delphonics.
All right, all right.
And a cousin of mine who used to play bass for the Stylistics said that Russell Tompkins Jr., the original lead singer, had stepped off and that there was a vacancy. I said, well, I'm with the Delphonics, man. I'm having fun. He said, you better come on. This is a big group. They're headliners, and you see the world with them.
I've seen the 70s Soul Jam 40 times. Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what the show was like. And so I went up in the audition, and a couple of days later I decided, yeah, I'll take the job. And we've been on the road and around the world for 11 years, ever since.
Wow. And your manager, Miss Jackson, speaks so highly of you gentlemen. What's it like being on the road? Every episode of Unsung, the bands are always killing each other. What's it like being on the road together?
We get along like friends.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's never too much of a good thing?
No. Well, actually, I just formed this group in 2012 after I got out of the original Stylistics. And it took a little while to handpick everybody, but when I got the guys, and it just fell right in line, vocally, choreographically, personality-wise.
Right.
I was like, wow, this is better than them other guys. Don't tell nobody.
That's great. Because it is not an easy road out there.
No, it's not.
And people see glamour because when you're on stage, you're 10 feet tall and you're looking sharp, and later you're going to do a set for us. But it's tough out there traveling. As a wrestler, you travel all over, and the road is not easy.
Not easy at all. The old saying, you take $5,000 worth of gear, you put it in a $500 car, and you drive 100 miles and do a $100 job. And that's the way it is. You're on the road. Thank God gas is going down.
Right. There you go. There you go. And what have been some of the highlights thus far?
Some of the highlights were just traveling and meeting new people, and people who have been in the business for a long time, people I just used to read about. Now I'm meeting them, and the guys, that's a new treat for them too. That's really the highlight. And the fans, the love of the fans.
And who are some of the legendary groups you perform with?
Well, let's see. The Dramatics, Shy Lights, Cuba Gooding Sr.
I interviewed Cuba Gooding Sr., and I didn't interview him because basically he just goes for an hour. You can't get a word in. You sit back and listen. It's great.
Well, I don't have to say a thing then. Yeah, and just about everybody who had a hit in the 1970s I met.
Okay.
So you play around the States and also in Europe, and you play in Asia. I mean, you said all around the world.
Well, yeah. Every at the end of October we go to United Kingdom.
Oh.
And we do Scotland and Britain and Wales, and then Ireland, and then for 6 weeks.
Right. Yeah.
And then we come home for like 5 days, and we're in the sky again going to Japan.
Wow.
For 3 weeks.
How exciting.
And we're all up and down them islands.
Right.
And sometime before we come home, we do Manila.
Well, yeah, so that's another flight from you.
Or China.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then come home.
And we were just discussing with Wardell Piper on another show that we did that much of the work in R&B and music in general ends up with American artists going to Europe and Asia. Why is that? Why do we neglect our own artists? What's that about?
I think what it is America is always looking for a new thrill. every 5 months, every 6 months, there's some new kind of music or some new attraction, and they kind of, trash the guys that were here and had hits, and they loved them, while they were hot. But as soon as they get a little simmered, get a little cold, here comes this kid that can dance on his head, or
Right.
so they kind of kick them to the curb. And Europe, they love R&B especially, and
Oh, yeah.
disco. So you can always find work there. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of us go over there.
Guys like Jimmy Ruffin, who recently passed. Jimmy Ruffin moved to Europe to make a
yeah.
living.
Oh yeah,
That's a big decision.
quite a few people did.
Shaka Khan.
The guy Edwin Starr,
Evan Starr, right?
he lived over there. He had a castle. It was beautiful.
Castle.
He
Wow.
had a castle.
Wow.
It was beautiful.
I have a one-bedroom apartment in Queens. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
he
opt
did
for one
well.
of those.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, who are some of your musical influences? I'll pass this on to everybody.
With me, I gotta say Bootsy Collins. 'Cause
I love
I'm a
Bootsy.
musician as well. I play electric bass. Stanley Clark,
Stanley Clark.
Larry Graham, Victor Wooten,
Larry Graham.
Lewis, the late great Lewis Johnson of the Brothers Johnson. I can go on and on, But I got many heroes, but funk has kept me all these years. R&B has always been embedded in my bones, but under all of this here style and flash, I'm a funk artist.
Oh, yeah. George Clinton is at B.B. King's on Tuesday. He's 74. He's still out there, and he's just going to keep going.
That's right.
I turned John Winnell, the poet, onto George Clinton. How great is
About
George?
5 times, yes. That's right, Fat Tuesday with George and BB, which I'm tempted.
And
Yeah, we saw
gentlemen?
him last year, it was like a 3.5-hour show.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Some of my musical influences were, back in old style R&B singers like Sam Cooke.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye, David Ruffin of the Temptations. The real gritty type and sensuous singers of the R&B genre.
I used to see Eddie Kendricks and David Ruffin opening for guys like Bobby Womack at the Beacon in New York, and just tremendous music. It's so sad that they're all gone. They're all gone. Ruffin, Kendricks, Womack, yeah.
Well, someone who's similar to their style, we will be opening up for next Saturday night at Symphony Hall in Newark, New Jersey. El DeBarge
Oh, yeah.
of,
Yeah, I
of
love
the
that.
DeBarge family.
Yeah.
Pretty falsetto.
Beautiful voice.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. And he's had a tough road.
Yes,
Yeah, he's been through a lot,
Yeah.
But he's
but he
a
still has
fighter.
it.
Oh, yeah,
He has
absolutely.
that beautiful voice.
And a showman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of people with beautiful voices, but they're not showmen. I mean,
Right.
he knows how to work an audience.
Yeah, he works an
Entertaining.
audience.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm a big Luther Vandross fan. Grew up listening to Luther Vandross, but a lot of my music love is from jazz. Al Jarreau, Joe Samples, Michael Franks.
Yeah.
Those are some
I like that.
big time artists and where I get my inspiration from in music. So I'm kind of all over the place, but those are my greats.
I saw Luther Vandross live, and when he did A House Is Not a Home, I just said, there's nothing better than this.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Al Green doing Love and Happiness.
Oh,
Right? Yeah, right. Close. like,
Turn the house
one-
out.
That's right.
Did you hear Larry Graham's version?
We saw Larry Graham last year. I go see him every year. This guy is so tremendous, and he's not a kid anymore. I mean, absolutely tremendous.
They
No
were
one
tighter
but-
than the original band. They were
Yeah,
incredible.
they are.
And they have George Johnson of the Brothers Johnson on guitar touring with him.
Okay, can't beat that.
Wow.
Sure can.
Yeah.
Lightning licks, baby.
Larry Graham's going to be 70, I believe, and he's absolutely great.
He
And
looks good.
ageless. I mean, he
He
looks
looks
great.
great. He
He's
looks
great.
good.
Yes, he
He
does.
still looks the same, except for you don't have the big curly afro anymore.
That's right. But he wears the hat with the feathers.
Yeah.
Right, and
Makes
that's
up
cool
for it.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But like anytime Prince puts you on tour with him,
Yeah.
you know you got to be that guy.
I was at the Garden to see Prince, Larry Graham, and Shaka Khan. It was one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. About 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't beat that lineup.
Can't beat that.
And then they're all jamming together on top of it.
Disco,
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was beautiful.
And you mentioned Stanley Clarke. I saw Stanley Clarke open up for Bob Marley, folks, in
Really?
'78 at the Garden.
Wow.
Wow.
And he did the School Days.
School days.
And,
Woo!
yeah, he tore
that's
it
a
up,
great
and then
one.
of course Marley came out, and I don't know what was going on. It was
destroyed
so
everybody.
Stanley
great.
Clarke
Heaven.
is
I
the
think
guy.
the Garden lifted off the ground.
Those were
Yeah.
Stanley Clarke, he was like
The god of
misplaced
Yeah.
in that
the
concert.
promised land.
Yeah.
Because he could have been, well, he was with
Weather report.
Bob Marley.
No.
Weather report.
Return to Forever
Jacques
Return to Forever.
Stories.
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
Chick
yeah.
Corea.
Chick Corea, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's in a progressive jazz thing, jazz rock thing.
Yeah. Fusion.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, and that's my favorites.
Go ahead, right ahead.
Everybody.
I like it.
Etta James.
That's all right, James. Tell
I mean,
Mama.
really, I go back to the 30s, on up to Smokey Robinson. I love Smokey.
Smokey Robinson is one of those rare artists. He sounds better today.
Right.
He's singing like a jazz singer
Yeah.
today.
Yes.
He sounds great.
He settled down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is, yeah.
He found himself.
And I liked a lot of rock groups too. I like Yes and Kiss and
That's more John's thing than
Queen.
mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who do we lose? Bowie and Paul
Oh,
Kent.
yeah.
I like
Paul
Fleetwood
Kent,
Mac.
Yeah.
I missed Bowie.
Yeah, Bowie was
that's
great.
right.
Yeah, Luther Vandross. He played with
played
Bowie
with
before.
Bowie, yeah.
Bowie
Grand
did.
Funk Railroad.
Yes, he
Okay,
did. He started with
tremendous.
Bowie, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Grand Funk.
Yeah, man.
Hey man, you had your turn.
I'm more an R&B, jazz, and blues guy. I was at Carnegie Hall the other night for Lead Belly Festival, and Buddy Guy, 79 years
Buddy
old, Eric
Guy.
Burden. These guys aren't kids, and
Oh, the
they
great
still
Lead Belly.
they still tear it up.
Yeah.
That's good.
I
That's,
gotta
that's
catch
blessed.
some of
I
those
know.
performances.
So what do you have coming up? Any tours? New CDs?
Well, hopefully a CD. But we open up for El DeBarge on the 13th.
Okay.
And the very next day we open up for Heat Wave.
Boys and Forever.
Always
Yeah.
and forever. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That should be fun.
That's great. So what we're going to do is take a very brief commercial time out, and when we come back, we're going to talk more with Van Field's Stylistics Review. Don't you dare go anywhere, folks.
Dad, where do babies come from?
Well, there's that big, shiny rocket ship. That's right, it's filled with babies of all kinds. And when the shiny rocket ship penetrates, mommy and dad goes, and when the time is just right, there's a space launch.
All systems go.
Babies of all kinds, released all over the place. Yeah, Africa. Mommy's Babylandia. That's right, it's filled with babies. After an amazing 9 months, babies. And that, son, is where babies come from.
But Jake said babies come from.
Planet. Babylandia.
Play
Wheels on the Bus.
Wheels on the bus
Go round and round, round and round, round and round. Wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town.
Dad,
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Hog's hair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly using Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
We are back with Evan Ginsberg's Legends TV with Van Field Stylistics Review, and we were just talking about all our favorite artists, and I'd say some of the best nights of my life was seeing James Brown, Al Green, George Clinton, Chuck Brown. I love Chuck Brown out of D.C.
Oh, yeah.
And Sun Ra. Anybody? Any Sun Ra?
yeah.
I love Sun Ra.
Oh, yeah.
My trumpet player is a member of Sun Ra.
Really?
Mike
Love Sun Ra.
Stingray.
Sun Ra was so ahead of his time. He was
Yes.
doing music videos in the 50s. I mean, forget the 70s with MTV or the 80s. The 50s.
Wow.
That man was a genius. Yeah. And Sun Ra used to go for hours also. Chuck Brown would play for hours. It was like a party.
Jamming.
Jam session.
Oh, yeah.
Jam session.
Long
Right.
jam session.
And see, James Brown was very tight. It wasn't a jam session. It was a different kind of great. James Brown was just perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. James Brown in his prime back in the 70s. Unbelievable.
He was. He had the tightest band in the USA, man.
Yeah, Bootsy played with him when he was 17.
Right,
Yeah,
that's right.
17.
Wow.
Yeah, Pee Wee Ellis, Maceo,
Maceo Parks.
Fred Wesley.
Fred
Yeah,
Wesley,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You're not gonna.
Always
It's hard to
great.
top that.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
telling you.
Yeah.
Top musicians.
So, looking back, is there a particular gig or a particular person you played with that meant the most to you? I'm passing this on to everybody.
All of them were really great.
Particularly large crowd, particularly impressive venue.
Okay, the Whispers.
Yeah.
The Whispers.
We opened up for the Whispers, I believe, 3 times when I was with the original guys, and the Whispers, they just bring the house down every time. They just
Speaking of tight bands and great choreography.
great. Everything about them was so choreographed and so beautiful. You just couldn't take your eyes off of them. You didn't want to blink.
And one of the Whispers just passed as well.
Yeah, Nicholas
Yeah.
Caldwell.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah, it's
We're
a-
losing so many great musicians. Maurice White, of course,
yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Otis Clay. Otis Clay was tremendous.
Yeah.
Underrated, actually underrated. Who else, John?
Squire.
Blowfly just died.
Right, Squire just tried, right?
Yeah.
And
Blowfly just
Chris
died.
Squire?
Huh?
Blowfly?
Oh, yeah,
for,
a couple weeks
yes.
ago.
Yeah, I did hear that.
He died
Rap
maybe
Dirty
6 months
Blowfly?
ago.
Huh?
Of course, you know. they-
Yeah, Blowfly.
I mean, it was like a
Whoa.
little quiet announcement. Yeah, he was sick for a while, I guess. But
They
of
should have made
course,
a big deal out of him because he was
They-
phenomenal
I think
on
so,
that bass.
too.
Very
Yeah.
percussive.
yeah, they were ahead of their time, but
Definitely.
not recognized for whatever reason. I don't.
I think they were a little too deep for most people's taste.
Probably that's what it was because it had more of the maybe the classical and
Yeah, they mixed that
That was-
real well.
That was like Zappa. I don't think
Zappa,
anybody
right.
understood
Frank
Zappa.
Zappa,
I mean, what talk about
Captain
a band,
Beefheart.
That's
Talk
all.
about-
And the crazy. I love. In fact, Gary Lucas, I think, is going to be somewhere in the vicinity of New York. Before. I mean, these guys were so great. But Zappa, everything was scored. I've been watching the stuff from the '70s,
Really?
where he has like a xylophone, and everything is written. He comes on with the sheet music, and people just didn't get it. I don't think they still get it. Beefheart, forget. No.
Yeah.
He's Mozart of modern times.
Oh, that's
That's
Wow.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. And literally, because Boulez conducted Zappa's music, and he also passed. The great conductor. So, I mean, maybe time. Time has to pass
Yeah.
for people to
Recognize
appreciate
his
the greatness of, and you guys do, of all that. I mean, it's a shame in America. I still don't get it. I mean, I'm a big Thelonious Monk fan. I
Oh,
can't get
man.
enough.
Wow.
He's like my
Wow.
hero.
That's a young person about Thelonious Monk. They'd be like, what?
They'll be like,
Which hurts me. I mean, I listen to Monk. It's like, my God,
I have this
is
conversation
like
all the
sugar
time.
or whatever.
Alan
right?
Toussaint just passed.
Another.
Alan Toussaint should be an American treasure.
Yeah.
Alan Toussaint wrote and produced some of the greatest songs ever recorded.
Yes.
You walk up to 1,000 people on the street, 990 will look at you and go, who?
They didn't even know he wrote Southern Nights. They associated.
I didn't know who he was.
Alan Toussaint was one of the greatest New Orleans
Yeah.
songwriters and producers. He wrote Mother-in-Law, Southern
Yeah.
Nights. What else, John?
God,
I mean, countless.
I can't
yeah.
offhand, it'll come to me at 3 in the morning. But,
But
yeah, he wrote, you would know. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so catchy, the big, it's so, I mean, Glenn Campbell speeded it up, but his version of Southern Nights, he does like a really slow, you
Yeah,
can almost
beautiful,
feel like the
beautiful.
breeze coming through.
I am a lineman
That's
for
an
the
artist.
Well,
county.
that's Jimmy Webb, but
Yeah.
even still, but great, right?
Yeah.
He's still out there.
Wichita, oh, Wichita.
Oh, another great stuff. Yeah.
What's ironic, as sad as it is that Maurice White passed, I'm actually happy to see he's getting acknowledged.
Yeah.
You know, somebody like Otis Clay, except maybe in the R&B blues community, you really didn't hear much about him passing.
Yeah.
You didn't even know that Blowfly died. He
Yeah.
died a
Yeah,
few
I
weeks
did.
ago. Yeah,
Blowfly.
so
I never seen him without his mask.
he was a producer also.
Was he?
Yeah, absolutely. With
I-
TK Records back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, is there a particular show that you remember, as a fan, I'm saying, and I'll pass this on to John and Sir Style as well, where you just said, this is the greatest show I've ever been to?
I got one. It was Shaka Khan, the Brass Construction, Casey and the Sunshine
Wow.
Band, the Commodores, and Harold Melvin.
All on one show.
At Shea Stadium.
Wow.
About 1976 or 7.
How'd I miss that? Yeah.
At Shea Stadium.
I saw Bruno and Larry Zabisco and Bruno and Stan Hansen at Shea Stadium. Yeah.
Some guy ran out there for the football jersey on and ran up. He wasn't supposed to be on the field. He ran up to the bandstand and got down in front of Shaka Khan and started doing like this.
Oh, yeah.
And security ran up to him and wrestled him down. He was like, I love her, I love her, I love her.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
She said, let him go.
The greatest musical experience I ever had, which would probably not qualify as a concert, I went to Al Green's church in Memphis, and he did about 4 hours, and this homeless guy comes in, and Al Green anoints him. It was like, people were just drained. It was unbelievable what went on in that church that day. His church, Al Green has his own church in Memphis. It's about a mile from Graceland, and we're asking directions, and none of the white people knew where it was. So, they had no idea. And I'm like, the greatest music in the world is like 1 mile from here, and they're oblivious. It was interesting. It was interesting.
Make a left past Elvis's house, man.
Yeah. So this is a funny story. They have these tour guides at Graceland and say, ask any question you want about Elvis. Okay, we know everything he ate, everything he drank. They had like a 1,000-page book. So I said, Al Green lives up the block. Did Elvis ever hang out with Al Green? And they're all looking at each other and go, we don't know. It's like I stumped the panel.
Did you win a prize?
That was good.
But he said Elvis used to sing gospel songs with James Brown at Graceland. They used to be pals.
Yeah.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, Al Green hit big like 71.
Yeah.
And Elvis lived till 77. I mean, they lived up the block. I would think maybe they knew each other.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I guess it's a mystery for the ages.
That's right.
I'll tell you a good story to combine the two. A good friend of mine is the executive producer at the Electric Factory in Philadelphia.
Cool.
So I used to help him out when he needed with sound and lighting. So one time, the Insane Clown Posse showed up, who I had met several times before in the wrestling business. So as I'm doing the sound and lighting, they come up to me and they say, we're going to do this thing. We're going to hit each other with some chairs and do some other wrestling stuff. Do you want to join in? Of course I do. So we get up there, I stay on stage, all the other crew members leave, and now I'm throwing soda at the crowd, we're hitting each other with chairs, and I quickly look over to my boss over at the side, and he's like, what? I had no idea I knew them. He lost it, but once I got off stage, it was one of the funniest things that's ever happened. And second to that only is, this is a no-brainer, but Woodstock '94, I had so much fun that I'm in the first 30 seconds of a home video.
Really? Great to see this.
You'll appreciate this.
That's cool stuff.
Insane Clown Posse, their fans have they get so publicity.
Sure.
I interviewed Shaggy on the radio years ago. The guy couldn't have been any more polite, any nicer. I mean,
They're great.
The exact opposite of the image that
I was
some
speaking
people
to
have.
them once when they were doing an appearance. It was for a Halloween event at the Eastern State Penitentiary, which is an old prison in the Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
So they were the guest appearances there. So I ended up speaking to them, and then I saw them as they were leaving, and there was a whole group of people around them that were like preventing them from getting into limbo. And so I walked up and I started talking to them, and somebody pushed one of those guys. Someone else pushed me on the ground. So Shaggy picks me up off the ground. He goes, "Where's your car?" I said, "Across the street." He said, "Follow me." We went to a Ring of Honor show. It was a fabulous night.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, Ring of Honor is wrestling elevated to an art form. But we're going to talk more wrestling after this segment. You guys wrestling fans?
Yes.
Really?
So we can this guy.
Boxing fan. Yeah, me too.
Your boy Ric Flair, baby.
Yeah, Ric Flair.
Yeah.
One of the best nights of my life was seeing Ric Flair in Philly.
Yeah.
Love Ric Flair.
I remember what he said this one particular time. He said, "I can sit down with kings and queens and snack on Italian cuisine and then go home and snack on some pork and beans. Cause I'm the Learjet flying, limousine riding, Murph making, girlfriend taking, woo, Space Mountain, baby."
That's right, Ric Flair.
Oldest ride in America with the longest line.
Nobody talks more trash than Rick, boy. That's my man.
I used to see Ric Flair in Philly every month in the 80s. He was just tremendous. What a showman.
Yeah,
What a
Still
showman.
is. Still is.
Yeah.
You got him up there managing these days. It's good to see
I
him.
was saying he's managing, yeah.
Speaking of showmen, you guys have beautiful choreography and the ultimate in professionalism. Who are some of the showmen you appreciate the most? I would first say, James Brown, of course.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I saw Michael Jackson live at the Victory Tour in Philadelphia at Robert F. Kennedy.
I was at that show. Yeah, Janet was there. She was very young.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson studied James Brown in the Tammy Show, studied Jackie Wilson, studied Bojangles, studied Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire, and the guy from Shalimar invented the moonwalk. Do you know that?
Right.
Michael Jackson borrowed from the best.
Jeffrey Daniels.
Oh, that's right.
Jeffrey
That's
Daniels.
right.
Jeffrey Daniels.
Right.
Yeah, he knew, like in wrestling, you borrow from the best and you piece it all together. But Michael Jackson was tremendous. But you know what James Brown said? He said, I'm never going to lip sync like Michael does, So to me, James Brown is even better in his prime.
Right.
James Brown in the Tammy Show, critics say that's the greatest music footage ever recorded. The Tammy Show was a huge concert around 1964, 65.
I remember that.
Yeah, for kids, I think.
James Brown
California,
came on
two shows.
before the Rolling Stones, and he just blew them.
No, but I think there were two different shows.
But they edited it together, yeah.
Because it's two different shows.
Yeah.
Two different-
TAMI, the Tammy Show.
Yeah,
If you go on
Marvin Gaye,
YouTube,
Chuck Berry,
yeah, unbelievable.
Beach Boys,
Marvin
Janet
Gaye.
Dean, yeah, Marvin.
Yeah.
Remember,
Marvin Gaye was not a great stage performer. He was a better,
Just a ballad.
Ballad-
brilliant recording artist.
the incredible balladeer.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
all.
He had the-
Stand there,
he had the
rock a
pipes.
little bit.
Remember Herman's Hermits?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were created, but they were
did,
good.
yeah.
He still plays, Peter Noon.
Really? Yeah.
Really?
Like
Yeah, I
when
They might live here in the city, I'm not sure.
when Marvin did Distant Lover live, there was nothing better. But he was not a great dancer, and
He gyrated a lot.
yeah. he actually had stage fright.
Right.
He would cancel shows sometimes.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Barbara Streisand, a lot of great performers have had stage fright.
Yeah.
It's,
Incredible.
Happens to the best.
You ever get nervous in front of a crowd, or?
Before I go on, I had little butterflies because
Well, that's good.
I always think anything can happen out here.
Yeah, the sound could go.
Trip over a cable,
Oh yeah.
something might happen, whatever. You might forget the words, and that has happened.
Sure.
But then, after you go out there and you feel the audience reception and their love, and when you open your mouth, first thing you say, they love. So you can mess up all you want. They're singing along with you. Then you get your heart together and just go out there and do it.
Anything can happen live. I was emceeing a show one day, John was there, and this drunk guy comes on stage.
When I performed.
That's right. So they're looking at me like, Evan, you know, and it's like, what am I, security? I don't know if this guy's armed or whatever, you know. So, no, really. I mean, the guy walked right on stage. Yeah.
He interrupted a couple of sets, yeah.
Wow.
So then we had my buddy Carlton J. Smith, who's a great R&B performer. This is an interesting story. He grew up in Harlem, a close friend of mine. He moved to Shanghai, China to pay the bills. What? Shanghai, China. You saw him on billboards in Asia. That's how big he got in China. Now he moved to Turkey, and he does an old school R&B review.
What?
Wow.
The money's overseas. That's really the reality of it.
It is.
You connect with the right club or the right casino or the right venue, and you're working multiple times a week. And he was there for 10 years in Shanghai.
Whoa.
Yeah, and sometimes they didn't even understand the words, but music's universal.
It is.
So Colin's on stage the other week. He came to New York on vacation, and somebody puts water at the front of the stage, and he moves. I mean, he's like an old school performer, and he's like, you got to get this water out of here. You know, it's a cup of water. He says, if I knock this over, I'm going to get electrocuted. You know, like I said, anything could happen. Look at Curtis Mayfield.
Oh,
Curtis,
God.
the thing fell on him.
Yeah.
The speaker, right?
Yeah, scary.
Anything
Yeah.
can happen.
So there is
Well,
reason.
Brett Michaels a few years ago, that
Oh,
thing
the
came
thing.
down on his
Oh,
head.
yeah.
Down right on his head. How do you think it was huge? But
Yeah.
yeah, it happens. Who knows? One inch difference.
Yeah.
See, we do. This is a live show, and anything can go wrong tech-wise. I would say 19 out of 20 times it's beautiful, but every once in a while it's live. Things happen, and you have to roll with it. You have to be professional. I think it was also Duke Ellington. He said, "Never let them see you sweat."
Exactly.
I could handle tech mistakes, but it's that final destination stuff I don't need.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, since you mentioned it, where would you like to see Van Field Stylistics Review go in the future? What would be the ultimate path you'd like to take?
Wow. Not like I've been everywhere. And
Being on billboards in Shanghai. No.
Opening for the Super Bowl.
There
Well, you go.
All right.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be
You get to see the game for
We
free.
should get
Yeah.
some Super Bowl
That's right.
predictions.
Carolina.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Carolina?
Yeah.
Want to do the halftime for
Is that you?
Super Bowl? That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful.
Well, if any music is universal, it's 70s soul music. I don't see why they don't. I mean, the Rolling Stones and these guys been around forever. They've done the Super
Yeah.
Bowl. So
They've done it.
sometimes I think they lean more towards the current acts on the charts.
They do.
But Prince has played the Super Bowl, so yeah.
How is it that he performed Purple Rain and it actually started raining right when he was doing the song?
Because he's Prince.
How did that
Yeah,
happen?
Right. That's always
because it's so spiritual.
Freddie Beverly and Mays did it too.
Really?
Said joy and pain, sunshine and rain, right at JFK Stadium, and in the midst of that performance, it started raining.
Wow.
I'll tell you a story. I was at Central Park Summer Stage, and Roy Ayers is playing, and it's raining, and then he starts doing Everybody Loves the Sunshine, and right before the sun came out.
Wow.
For real.
Wow.
I couldn't make this up.
That's real deep.
Yeah.
I hope that was caught
So
on
it's
film.
spiritual.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
spiritual. Roy was my oldest brother's best friend. They were,
Really.
Yeah.
What a great musician, and incredibly influential. Acid jazz.
Great.
You know, people. It's interesting if you look at hip hop, and we had Todd from the Bush, great hip hop artist, the previous show. The DNA of hip hop is really James Brown, George Clinton,
Some of them.
probably Roger Troutman from Zapp.
Zapp.
Yeah.
You know, so R&B and hip hop were like cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They really
that's
are.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they borrowed from
All
R&B.
from that
Oh, yeah.
music.
They didn't have, the skill to master instruments and recreate on instruments, but they created a rap thing. What do you call it?
The tracks.
Like poetry, street poetry,
Yeah, put the tracks
to
it.
a different kind of beat. They were dancing kind of crazy.
Speaking of beats, James Brown's Funky Drummer has probably been on thousands and thousands of hip hop tracks.
Correct.
I wonder if he's been paid.
Probably.
At this point,
James
maybe.
probably, yeah. A lot of guys haven't.
Yeah, no,
That's
that's a
true.
shame.
So, speaking of that, you guys enjoy hip-hop? A lot of old school artists.
Well,
The old school hip hop I enjoy now. I didn't then because it was something that was like, to me, it was thrown together. I said, wow, they're using music that was in my basement with dust.
Right.
And they're serving it up like it's brand new. Talking about fresh, everything's fresh. And I used to tell my daughters, ain't nothing fresh about that. That's James Brown. That's Rick
Right.
James.
Yeah.
That's the Parliament Funkadelic.
Yeah.
And that's whoever. And they was like, no, it ain't. I go down the basement.
Yeah.
Get the album, put it on. He like, wow, they copied off of it. I said, how can they copy off of them? Your boys wasn't even alive when this music was
the
playing.
boys is the biters. Now listen, my godmother, the late great Sylvia Robinson of Sugar Hill
Oh,
Records,
yeah. Pillow Talk.
was the very first hip hop mogul ever.
Oh, yeah.
Sugar Hill, yeah.
Sugar
Hill,
Hill.
My-
Yeah.
And you know, God bless her soul, and also her son Joey Robinson. You know, Sugar Hill will be a legacy that will be remembered forever.
Oh, yeah.
Long
Out of
live
New
Sugar
York,
Hill.
right?
Right. No, Englewood, New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey, yeah. Sugar Hill Records.
Leland, if you're out there, how you doing?
A lot of great music out of New Jersey. George Clinton's originally from Jersey, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was from Ohio.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah, that's-
Speaking of geography, why is it that Philly is one of the capitals not only of R&B, but of wrestling and also boxing? What is it about Philly, boxing, wrestling, and R&B?
Wow.
Boxing's easy.
Everything started in
Rocky.
Philly. You were the Constitution,
Yeah,
the first
Rocky.
capital.
Yeah.
Everything starts
Started.
in Philly.
There
Don't
you
let
go.
anyone tell you it's California.
Yeah.
It's Philly.
There you go.
But why is that? I mean,
It's known the city of first. That's where it
okay.
all began. The first White House.
All right.
Liberty Bell was there.
True, true.
I mean, I spent some of the best nights of my life in Philly, especially at wrestling shows. So,
Certainly.
but when you think boxing, you know, so many greats came out of Philly.
Yeah. Most definitely.
I guess because there wasn't enough jobs to go around, so they all went to PAL and learned how to fight.
Well, that
you know?
that might be part of it. You know,
Yeah.
the economics, and you know, it's interesting with music, the parallels. Doo-wop singers, a lot of them did not have the money for instruments. Hip hop artists, a lot of them did not have the money
Same
for
kind
instruments.
of beginnings, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
hear you.
this could be part of the Philly thing. You know, like I don't want to get punched in the head, so I never went to boxing. But you know, if it's a possible income source, I could see it.
But
yeah.
that's
you got a
always
skill
good with
for it, yeah.
boxing, people getting out of tough times and, you know, making it. Because in New York too.
Yeah, if you go back 100 years, a lot of the boxers were poor Jewish guys and poor Italian guys in New York.
Right, so it's always been a way of, and
economical
anything
to
has
make
been a
money.
way of, you know, getting up, you know, getting out of tough times. You know.
Exactly.
That's right. Speaking of tough times, I've been talking to John. I've actually been very saddened the past few weeks with so many great musicians passing. It just seems much more than usual. I mean, it seems like every time you wake up, there's another great musician dying. One of the Tower Power guys recently
Yeah.
passed as well. Who do we leave out? Some of the rock artists that you like?
Well, Paul Kantner, that was a big one for me. I mean, when I was a kid, I listened to the Airplane, so, and I was lucky to see the Airplane a few times, so that was hard. But Bowie, of course, I took the hardest, but Paul Kantner was a tough one too.
Yeah.
You know, and then I guess Maurice White. It's been a tough couple of months.
Alan Toussaint.
And Alan, I mean, that was.
Alan
we just saw him
yeah.
was it last summer or
Lincoln
the summer
Center,
before?
yeah. Alan
He was
Toussaint was huge in New Orleans. Then after Katrina, New York embraced him.
moved
He
to
was
New
living in
yeah,
New
he
York.
moved to-
So he was, you know, really part of the city. He was always here, and yeah, that was a tough loss.
Yeah, that was.
And he just played that night. He just went back to the hotel and.
Well, but that's, you know, he was so great and he was so smooth. He would just sit down and, well, I mean, there's a concert that he did, well, he could play with anybody, but there's one that he did with Elvis Costello. But when we saw him, yeah, that's really fantastic, you know, and he did, he rearranged all of Costello's songs, so it's his arrangements. There's a video of that. I don't know if maybe it was in New Orleans. I don't know, but that's really spectacular. When we saw him, it was just him on the piano, and it's just like water.
Yeah.
The guy could do anything. He was so gifted.
And when you met him, he was just so humble
Very kind.
and soft spoken.
Yeah, he did that whole at the end like it was Mardi Gras. He had this big bag, and he just was throwing stuff out into the audience. It was so much fun. And it was sad, you know.
So we want to dedicate this show to all the artists we've lost, including Roger Ortega Sr., who is a friend of, my friend Roger Ortega. His son has appeared on this show several times, and a few months back, Roger Ortega Jr. and his lovely wife and kids were sitting right on this couch and, said, "Dad, we love you, and, wish you well," and all, and it was very emotional. And unfortunately, Roger Ortega Sr. passed yesterday, so we want to dedicate this show to a musician who probably will not get the acknowledgement as some of these other gentlemen who we've mentioned today have. So, and tonight at 8 o'clock, Madhouse TV is graciously going to re-air the episode with Roger Ortega and So Soon, great hip-hop artists. So check that out at 8 o'clock. And we have a clip of Roger Ortega Sr. on that show, so that's going to be very special. And not to bring everybody down, but it's one thing that's important to me is acknowledging people. They're going to write a million words about David Bowie, and rightfully so. And I'm very happy that Maurice White is getting the acknowledgement he deserves. But a lot of, like Otis Clay, for example. Otis Clay was out there 50 years. And either somebody's going to go, "I never heard of him," or "I didn't know he died," because it's not acknowledged.
Right.
And I think that's important.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah, it definitely is. A lot of artists are happy with being in the background and doing the things they do, so they don't get the spotlight or run out to the spotlight. So, it's sad, like you said, but we know, in our circle of artists, we know. So the respect is there. The mourning is going to be there, especially some of those who are a little lesser known to others, but more known to us.
On a brighter side of this, somebody like Maurice White, somebody like David Bowie, or any of these artists, their art, their music is going to last forever.
Exactly.
They'll be listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire every day forever. Until some lunatic blows the place up with World War III or whatever.
Sounds never dissipate, they only recreate.
That's right.
Never space and time.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The music of the Stylistics will always be listened to. Always.
What was that? I think John Lennon said, when they're out there, the satellite sending music, the aliens were responding, "Send more Chuck Berry."
I like that.
That is nice.
I've never gotten that request.
I was one of the producers on the movie The Wrestler, and I actually act with Mickey Rourke in the movie.
Cool.
And I did not get rich from that movie, but what's important to me is 100 years from now, people will be watching that movie, because that's an iconic performance that Mickey does in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that means more to me than the payoff, the financial payoff.
Sure.
Yeah, considering they didn't talk much about him in years before and years after, I think that speaks for itself.
That's like Marlon Brando and On the Waterfront. That's such a powerful performance. If you ever see it again, you'll see me in there. That's my 30 seconds of true fame. I acted with an Academy Award nominee. So,
Good.
yeah. So anyway, gentlemen, we're going to wrap this segment up, and you're going to join us later in the show for a incredible set. Anything you want to plug? Any websites, social media?
We're on Facebook and YouTube.
And let's acknowledge your wonderful manager who works so hard. She came out 5 in the morning for this.
Andrea Jackson.
Andrea Jackson of the people.
There you go. There you
My
go.
Capricorn Queen.
I've been communicating with her off and on this week, and people don't realize You get up early in the morning, get in a car, you know, not easy singing 11 in the morning. We appreciate your efforts, we appreciate her efforts. And ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to talk pro wrestling with Sir Style, and we're going to have John Winnell do a poetry set and then a live set from Van Field's Stylistics Review. It's going to be special. Don't you dare go anywhere.
What are you looking for? You don't even know that. You're on the ball list, so you can't even answer. I'm asking you about it. You gotta be highly skilled. You understand that? Are you sick? Are you well versed there? Are you very smart man? Hit me with some funny shit. My shit's twisted. Tell me something.
What do you have right there?
That's awesome.
Well,
that's a big.
That's nice. You know damn well.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Sir, hey, are you interested in twisted talent?
yes, I am. Sure. See, you got twisted.
That's twisted. That's talent. You see what I'm saying? You understand me? And if you can't whip out answers like that, that man is liable to during a commercial break punch your fucking mouth loose. You understand me? Time is up, sir. You understand me? You're on. You're the man. All right, give me your name now. I'm sorry.
My name is Willie.
Willie, where you working at?
We are twisted. We are awesome. Love awesome.
Can you repeat that question again?
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. For
Hi, I'm Tom Mealy, one of the founders here at Madhouse TV. You know, people ask me all the time what motivates me and what makes Madhouse TV different than all the other internet broadcasting studios around the world. Well, I tell you, what motivates me are the people we get to meet, the people we get to help, and the lives that we change by allowing their medium here at the studio. And I think that that's what my motivation is. What makes us different? Madhouse TV has been around for the past 5 years. We have a solid foundation. We've seen studios come and go. We've seen studios in basements, garages, shacks, little shanties all over the place. People wanting to do this type of media. This is the media of the future. So what makes us different? Here at Madhouse TV, our team, Tommy Marr, Vicky, Janine, we take this very seriously. This is not a joke. This is a very serious business. And to be serious, you need to spend money. And to need to spend money, you have to have the best equipment possible to make the best video and the best broadcast possible. And here at Madhouse TV, that's exactly what we strive to do. We got a strong foundation. We're going to be around for a long time. You know, they look at me every once in a while when I come up with an idea and they say, oh boy, here we go again. But you know what? It's that, oh boy, here we go again, that keeps us the best. And we will continue to strive forward to do whatever it takes to be the best internet broadcasting studio in America. And I got to be honest with you folks, we're on that path. Over the past several years, we have had some of the top entertainers here in this studio. We've had lunch with people like The Who. We've had people in here like George Thorogood's Destroyers. Tommy Marr has been inspirational in bringing some of the biggest talent in the world right here to the studio. You know, that's what it's all about. Once you're the biggest, once you're the best, they're going to come. So we're offering all of you out there who want to have a shot at media, want to have a shot at being on television, give us a call here at Madhouse TV. We'd love to talk to you. Our prices are unbelievably reasonable. This is not CBS. We never planned to be CBS. So if you want to be on TV, you want to get your message across, you have a non-for-profit that you got to get that message out to people of hope, give us a call at 631-882-6900. We're here to help. We're here to have a good time. And most of all, we're here to become the best and the biggest in this business. Thanks so much.
All right, Evan Ginsberg back with Legends TV. Looking forward to the poetry set of John Winnell and the music set of Van Field Stylistics Review. But right now we're going to talk wrestling with our buddy Sir Stom. Before we do that, tell us, update us with the acting. You're an actor and...
So yeah, I had a great year. You can look for me on upcoming episodes of Gotham. I play an Arkham inmate in the insane prison, and my wife thinks that is hilarious. She swears I didn't have to prep for that role at all.
Yeah.
And
so wear that hat.
Yeah. With that being said, it's a lot of fun. I love being part of the show. So I'll be on multiple episodes of that, and then Daredevil, which drops in March. So, you know, basically my bosses are Batman, Spider-Man, and Evan.
There you go.
And last year, I got to do something else very interesting. I was part of the award selection committee for the Screen Actors Guild Awards. So ever since basically July, I've been going to screenings, I've been receiving DVDs, and I've been here before, but I wasn't able to talk about it then. And it's just given me such a new appreciation. I received hundreds of DVDs of stuff for my consideration. Never heard of these people, never heard of these shows. And the first couple, it's like, oh, never heard of that, I'm not going to watch it. But then you get more and more, and it's just this appreciation grows in. I would take any one of those jobs. God bless them for having their own show, and they took the time, and their company took the time to send me this to view for my consideration. So I was very, very honored to be part of that process.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. And I was just watching True Detective on HBO with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, and it's just tremendous, and you would have been perfect on that. You know, you have a unique look, and it's interesting. An actor buddy of mine said to me once, you know, the Barbie and Kens are a dime a dozen. You could always get the perfect-looking woman or the perfect-looking guy. That's easy. But when somebody has a unique look, as you certainly do, that's money, because that's going to fit the right niche.
Yeah.
And the trick is always getting it out there,
It's a lot of patience, and yeah, I could go to a cookie cutter look and be working, every day of the week on different shows. But I learned last year, because I tried changing my looks. You saw me, I came in here with no beard. I came in here with a full head of hair. I tried every different look, because I do have a dramatic difference in my looks. But what I learned in the end, I got phone calls off my old picture, and that's when I learned, don't doubt myself, stick with my look and keep going.
Yeah, you always want to stick out in the crowd. It's the guy who's 7 feet tall or 3 feet tall that's going to get the gig.
Sure.
The perfect blonde hair, blue eyes. That's a dime a dozen.
Sure.
Yeah, you don't want somebody interchangeable. Of course, you want to go in there and have them notice you.
Sure.
And they will. Sure.
Yeah, and I'm very blessed, because all my years in the wrestling business has really prepared me for this acting career in many ways.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very thankful.
Yeah. And speaking of heroes that we've lost, you were friendly with Axl Rotten, so we want to acknowledge him as well. He passed this week.
Yeah, let's please do. First of all, because I understand why, so I don't want to. I'm not sounding negative about it. It probably won't be acknowledged this Monday. So before I say some of my feelings, let me take this hat off. I just want to say one thing. I'm going to say this once, and I will never repeat it. But this is something that needs to be said. I find it completely disgusting, the people I see posting their favorite memories, their favorite pictures with Brian, with Axl, whatever you want to call him. Now, the people I take problem with are the same people that I saw in the last 2 years that had turned their backs on this man. Now, we all know he had his demons, but anyone who knows him knows his heart and knows that he was a locker room leader. He was a ring general. He would take the time and teach you. I first met him, to answer your question directly. My first real time I spent with him was about 15, maybe 12 to 15 years ago. And he was doing a show about 3 blocks from my family property in Seaside Heights. So we ended up, I went to the show, I talked to him, I got in a fight with the promoter, didn't let me talk to him, and then he came and got my bag, and then we hung out for a while, and then he ended up staying at the house for 2 days. And I'll never forget those times. And I'll tell you the one thing, not just from that day, but from the entire time I knew him, is I learned, don't judge a book by its cover. And I've seen a couple people put up some really amazing posts. Cue Ball Carmichael of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling League and Luke Hawks of Wildcats Wrestling League have both had some really great things to say. So have a lot of other people. I just want to discourage all the people who, if you have previously in the last 2 years said something negative, and I've seen some terrible things from people who are now posting their most joyous memories, at least apologize for what you said. And with that being said, from now on, happy memories, because we all know if you knew this guy, yes, he had his demons, but he was an amazing talent, an amazing mind, and he would take the time to spend with you if you just let him, give him the chance. So, yeah, it's tough. I don't claim to be great friends. I didn't have him on speed dial, but we always had great conversations every time I ever saw him. I last personally saw him about 2.5 years ago.
Whenever somebody sleeps in your house, stays in your house, there's a bond. I mean, I've had many wrestlers, various gigs, various shows crash by me, and you really connect with the person, sure. And yeah, absolutely. So it's
a great loss, and I hope he can be remembered for what he did for the business, because he certainly wasn't rewarded for it.
Yeah, very charismatic, tremendous performer. Absolutely.
And now, if you don't mind, I know we probably don't have a bell here, but can we maybe do like just a quick moment of silence? Because I don't think they're going to do that on Monday. So let's do that. Brian, for everybody, I know everybody in the wrestling world, and even a lot of people in the general public who have just heard your name are thinking of you. So we're going to give you a little moment of silence.
Rest in peace. That's what we do in boxing and wrestling.
You know it.
That's right.
And we'll be doing that at the next 1CW show in April.
Very kind of you. Acknowledge people while they're here, not after they're gone, folks. It's a running theme on this show.
So difficult. Call the people you know. Call the people you know who are having struggle because they might not be here tomorrow.
I see this meme all the time. Is that how you pronounce it? Meme?
Meme, I say.
Meme.
No, I think it's meme. My nephew might know.
Okay, meme. That's what, I see this meme on Facebook all the time. You know, a true friend, you could pick up the phone, you know, after a long separation and still be friends. I call bullshit. Pick up the phone, whether it's a relative, a friend, somebody who's in ill health, an elderly person, pick up the phone. You know, I know when people say my family is everything, my kids are everything, friends are important too, folks, really. And especially if they're struggling in any way, shape, or form. And because sometimes if you don't pick up the phone, it's too late. And what more can I say? So the wrestling business is a brutal business.
It certainly is.
We've all lost friends. Tiger Khan was one of my closest friends. He headlined for the Calgary promotion for the Hearts. Speaking of which, get well wishes to not only Bruce Hart, but Smith Hart, both suffering from prostate cancer. So Bruce Hart is a dear friend of mine, and two brothers are ill, so we wish them well. And it's a tough business, you know, you're on the road, and, you know, we had a personal trainer on the other show, and it's not easy always to eat healthy, you're traveling, you're running from place to place.
And, you know, and a lot of the guys, I've worked with many superstars and Hall of Famers, and they, you know, they say it the best, like everybody wants to go out with you after the show, and that makes it hard for them to stick to those diets and stay away from those bad habits, because everybody wants to, you know, go be part of that after show, and it's difficult.
Yeah, it's a very tough business, and Hugh Ball Carmichael is one of the outspoken, honest people who, you know, he was very angry about just what you said, you know, some of the people knocking Axl.
You saw that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he's a friend of mine on Facebook.
Okay, yeah.
So,
yeah, and I don't blame him. Good.
I don't blame him one bit. I agreed with him. Well, you know, this is old school. If you have nothing to say, nothing nice to say, don't say it, and also don't speak ill of the dead. These are basics. Basics.
And that's another case where people were going around running their mouths. And again, no one's doing it right now. Everyone's quiet and saying the right things. But we all know who was saying it before. And we don't forget, and respect is, you know, like they say, it takes a lifetime to earn and a second to lose.
And also, people have to understand when somebody has, whether it's drug issues, alcohol issues, whatever the case may be, you know, you support them. You know, you don't knock them, you support them. Right, John?
Sure.
Yeah.
You should.
John's a licensed psychologist. He deals with people with all kinds of issues.
I mean, no matter, especially, you know, people are in pain. They may push other people away, but, you know, if you want to support people, you have to be there for them and try to catch them if they fall. You know.
Yeah, a phone call, a text, you never know how much it could mean on the other end.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And another thing in American society is males find it difficult to say, I love you. And I'm one of them. You know, I'm one of them.
Oh, I don't. I love you, Evan.
I love you too, sir.
That's a breakthrough.
It's a breakthrough right here. A breakthrough. Yeah. But no, seriously, and sometimes just a little something like that means so much. And speaking of which, I'd like to wish my mom, whose birthday is today, happy 83rd birthday. She's been struggling as well, and 83 years old, unbelievable. I hope I can last to 83.
Oh, me too. Oh, I ain't kidding. I'd like to add to that. Gigi, 90 years old this past week, and we celebrated with her last night. You wouldn't think she was a day over 60. It's such an honor to know you, and I hope I can be so blessed.
There you go. The serious side of Sir Style today on Legends TV.
I'm very complicated.
There you go. There you go. Very briefly before we go to John's poetry set. somebody sees you walking down the street. You got the tattoos, you got the big beard. How do people react to you that don't know you? Because you're such a good-hearted guy. I mean,
certainly, it's 50-50. I mean, a lot of people look straight at me and get the complete wrong idea. And keep walking. And those are the people that my friends tell me will turn back and look at me after they pass me. But the majority of people, I mean, I'm a very personable person. If I'm sitting out somewhere, I'm talking to the people around me, and I think that projects itself. So a lot of people, I think, feel very comfortable asking me or just coming up and talking to me just because they're interested. And I take that to heart. I enjoy it, and I don't ever shun anybody away because some people, you know, when I was younger, people used to say, did those tattoos hurt? And I got that question so many times, it started to annoy me. And then I realized all these people want to do is start a conversation. So I embrace it. And I do generally get a very good reaction because once I speak to somebody, they know that I'm a personable person that's a real person.
yeah, you're a husband, you have kids.
I'm a grandfather, a father.
Grandfather, wow, wow.
3-year-old grandson.
Responsible human being. So, you know, don't judge a book by its cover. I get almost the opposite. They see a well-dressed, middle-aged white guy and they make assumptions. He must be right-wing, he must be a Trump voter, and you're making assumptions,
Sure.
which are not true in my case.
Sure, I hadn't thought of it like that, but I guess we all get our stereotypes in some way.
Exactly,
So, yeah.
exactly.
But I embrace it.
Anyway, plug any websites, social media, upcoming gigs, whatever.
Okay, so 1CW, First State Championship Wrestling, will be returning to Delaware. I know that might surprise some people, but we regrouped, we cleaned house, and we will return in April with our Hall of Fame show, second annual. We had a lot of good entertainment here today, so you can see me sing karaoke live tonight at a sushi bar in Philadelphia.
There you go.
Woo! Now that's entertainment. And you know, last of all, this is not a plug of mine, but just something I like to say because I don't endorse any products. I don't work for anybody, but I can tell you something that I love my beard, right? And this Gene Snitsky beard oil has changed not only how much time I spend in maintenance. I'm speaking from the heart here because this is not a commercial at all. This has not only changed how much time I spend in maintenance, it changes how much my beard feels great. It's growing more. It's fuller. I'm using less products. I'm not using a hair dryer or none of that crap. Even my 74-year-old mom said, "Why is your beard so much longer and greater?" And there's one reason. It's because I started using this 6 weeks ago. I didn't think it would work. I didn't know, but
This
it's
is like the
fabulous.
best commercial ever.
So yeah, I mean, if you've got a beard, you know someone who does, order this stuff. Give it a try. At least give it a try. I guarantee you'll love it. I've had many
Why don't
beards
you
over the
tell
last
Gene
20 years.
Snitsky to come on the show?
You know what, Gene Snitsky, come on and promote beard oil with us.
Yeah,
There's your invite.
We'd love to have him.
I'll send
John,
that over
plug
to
your
him.
book real quick.
Yes, the first book is going to be another one, but it's Poems for Everyday People, and JONWINELL, and at Yahoo or Facebook, if you're interested, just give me a holler or speak quietly.
And Sir Star will attest that JON in wrestling is more popular than JOHN because JON is cooler.
I will.
Right.
And don't forget to see me on upcoming episodes of Gotham and Daredevil.
That's right. And Apartment 4B like in Brooklyn about the East Flatbush of the 60s and 70s. Very turbulent times, much like today. So, folks, when we come back, John Winnell Live, as well as the Van Field Stylistics Review. Don't you dare go anywhere. We're going to take it to the stage. We'll be right back.
I'm going to do a live commercial. Hi, I'm Renee Marie, the president and founder of Renee Marie's Language of Love Foundation. I would like to personally invite you to our second annual telethon held right here on Madhouse TV. Did you know that nearly 80% of strokes could be prevented? By knowing the signs and getting to the hospital within a 4.5-hour window, you could save your life or someone's you love life or anyone's life. Strokes do not discriminate who it affects and at what time. A stroke can happen at any time and play a huge impact in your life. Do you know what aphasia is? It is a result of a stroke or brain injury, which affects the ability to speak and communicate. Think about how you would feel if you cannot express yourself, even in the simplest forms. I am blessed to say that I am a stroke survivor and can humbly speak of the experience of how it feels to express myself, to not be able to express myself. and not to understand. It is devastating. Please join us on March 20th, 2016 on Madhouse TV for a Language of Love telethon, which supports strokes and aphasia. You can visit our website at www.languageoflovetelethon.org. Together, we are lifting our voices and changing the face of strokes and aphasia around locally and around the globe. God bless you, and I'll see you on Madhouse TV on March 20th, 2016. God bless everybody. Ciao.
Okay, here we are, Legends TV, and Happy New Year to all of us, all our Asian friends. And I'm going to read a couple from the book and then a new one. And this is for Millie. Two girls from Eritrea asked me to take their photograph. I sit in the center of the city. The buzz of Times Square seems alive, electric. Non-stop images, an actress slipping on a pair of Levi's, a film crew from India telling everyone to please not look at the camera. I sit across the table. You've told me about the cancer. That sunken, defeated look crosses your beautiful brown eyes. Once a gypsy, always a gypsy, that's what I say. At least I get a smile, the beginnings of a laugh. Here, in the center of the universe, I sit powerless, unable to do anything. Yet I know that sometime in the quiet of night, the terrors will sink in, and with it, tears. The phone will ring, and I'll attempt to tell another joke. Captured in snow. Light twirls in a universe of stars, twinkling, the heat of history captured in their breath. Tonight, mist turns and evaporating moisture, blanketing everything in ice. The crying winds scratch timeless screams outside the window, whose glass is torn open, allowing gusts to dampen rooms. Shadows dance along cracked ceilings as silence that's haunted these otherwise turmoil-filled streets oozes along the length of walls. I sit inside the comfort of evening, nestled within this woolen cocoon, listening to the beckoning of a simple piano as the phone buzzes. Sounds travel along chords of light. Journeys of fireflies uncorrupted by the weather bring news of what will be as night turns to day and the covering of clouds dissipates, allowing us once again to see the beauty of the sun. And I'll end with this. Bare trees scrape robin's egg blue, clear as hands, now empty, left prints on all fallen bodies. I listened to the sounds of morning as light strayed through flowers that smiled inside the apartment where music danced and shadows told their stories to the wind. Thank you.
What are you looking for? You don't even know that. Are you on the ball there, so you can't even answer. I'm asking you about it. You gotta be highly skilled. You understand that?
Nah, I'm sick.
Are you well versed there? Are you very smart man? Hit me with some funny shit.
My shit's twisted.
Tell me something. Tell me
What
something.
do you have right there?
That's awesome.
Well-
That's a big.
That's nice.
You know damn well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's
Sir, hey, are you interested in
Twisted
or not?
Yes, I am.
I see you got twisted.
That's twisted. That's talent.
You see what I'm saying? You understand me? And if you can't whip out answers like that, that man is liable to door to commercial break, punch your fucking mouth loose. You understand me? Time is up, sir. You understand me? You're on. You're the man. All right, give me your name now. I'm sorry.
My name is Willie.
Willie, where you working at?
We are twisted. We are awesome. Love awesome. Love awesome. Love awesome.
Can you repeat that question again?
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin.
For professional.
That's why you seem to fall in love out again. Do you ever really love or just pretend? Why fool yourself? Don't be afraid. look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Love, love, love. Though you try, you can't hide all the things you really feel. Just don't decide that you will open up, let it in. There's no shame in sharing love. You keep within, so jump on in. Head over heels and fall right in. It's never too late to stop. Look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, baby, baby. Listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Love, 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 love. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Listen to your heart, can't you see it's not too late? Listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Listen to your heart, can't you see it's not too late? Listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Love. There's a spark of magic in your eyes. Candyland appears each time you smile. Never thought that fairy tales came true, but they come true when I'm near you. You're the genie in the sky, full of wonder and surprise. And bet you by golly, wow, you're the one that I've been waiting for forever. And ever will my love for you keep growing strong, keep growing strong. If I could, I'd catch a falling star to shine on you so I know where you are. Call the rainbows in your favorite shade to show I love you. Thinking of you, write your name across the sky. Ooh, baby, anything else go try. Come on, so bet you by golly, wow, you're the one that I've been waiting for forever. And ever will my love for you keep growing strong, keep growing strong. Bet you by golly, wow, you're the one that I've been waiting for forever. This next song came off of our second album. It's called Round 2. Just sing along with us if you remember the words. Trash man didn't get my trash today. Oh, why? Because they want more pay. Buses on strike wanna raise fare so they can help pollute the air. But that's what makes the world go round, the ups and downs of carousel, changing people's hands around. Go underground, young man. People make the world go round. Wall Street losing dough on every share. They're blaming it on longer hair. Big men smoking in their easy chairs on a fat cigar without